Sternville, here with my big bro, Levante Mason. How you feeling, man?
Good, man.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Castle can't be here again. He's on baby duty, so family first as always. But yeah, I'm glad he's doing good. We were just in the chat with him. Seems like everything's good. He's taking care of business. So uh, yeah. So what's been going on with you this week, bro?
Nothing. I've been streaming finally. Well, I've,
Okay.
I've been streaming, but I finally got the little face cam and junk. So I've been doing that. Been going through that experience. Had a few hiccups, but we going through the motions.
Right.
But it's a good learning experience. It's a lot.
Bro. So I actually wanted to get into that with you. Um, so I'm doing it too. I'm online now, and I was putting the pieces together, and as I'm getting this and getting that, and just I'm learning how difficult it actually is to complete an actual production, because I don't think a lot of people. Well, I don't know what a lot of people think. I'm not going to speak for a lot of people, but I will say everything I watched online did not really communicate how much of a production Twitch was, or just streaming period. I was just completely clueless. And I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
see what did you I guess gain, or do you feel what I feel, or am I just completely off in your opinion about that?
Oh, you're right, man. It's a lot. I mean, streaming is easy, I guess, if you're just doing it from a console. I mean, you just type in what you want and then start playing. But if you're actually trying to be for real with it, and get capture cards and camera webcams and all that stuff, and start digging into that Streamlabs, like then that's when you start getting into like the production, and that's a whole different it's a whole different ballgame, especially if you're trying to, separate yourself from everybody else. You
Right.
kind of gotta, it forces you to be creative.
Yeah.
That's the good challenge, and also a, frustrating thing, but it just forces you to actually, dig deep and, be creative. That's the
Yeah.
big thing for me.
Yeah, you're right, man. And I ran across a lot of streams that are pretty similar.
You're right. Yeah, it forces you to, you know, be creative. And that's the one thing I've been liking. And it's kind of been, frustrating, but it is what it is. I'm still trying to, I'm still well, for me, I'm still trying to get used to being on a camera. Like I'm still trying to get used to, seeing myself on the camera. It's more easier to, you know, stream not being seen, but it's been you know, something to actually it's been something to get used to seeing yourself on a webcam and stuff.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, it's still a process. It's a good process, and we still try to get through
Right, man. And I feel like when
it.
I think it's a lot like when you start out music. I kind of correlate a lot with that because of just where I came from, the environment I come from. And when I look at it, I had to be my own producer. I had to, be my, of course, my own writer, stuff like that. I had to go in there and record stuff. I had to book my own sessions, and yeah, you know how I go.
Yeah,
This is what it feels like with this too, because really we doing a lot of technological stuff that most people who are running a show and kind of the way that we are would necessarily have to deal with on their own. Like,
all right.
and some people actually don't. Some people actually do have a team or whatever. But starting out, for sure, I imagine a lot of people are just on Amazon, like we were, just buying what's necessary. And you got to be the camera person. You got to be the audio person. You got to, what I'm saying, you got to be the personality on the screen. You got to be good or bad or whatever you're trying to be with the games. You got to be a lot of, if once the sponsors start coming in, which they will, and even before that, when you start getting subscribers and stuff like that, you got to be the financial person. You got to know what money you've had to put in back into the production versus what you about to spend, and it's pretty much like you are everything until you gather that team together, which
Yeah,
it was really, it got real when I started buying thing after thing after thing and not really having no help. Because when you go on YouTube, I almost want to make a video myself, because they don't really, okay, there's a lot of stuff you have to find out exists before you start. Like, you don't know what you don't know, so you just think okay, I got a system, a
Mhm.
webcam makes sense, and a mic makes sense. You don't know nothing about capture cards.
Nope.
You see me post this week about that chat link joint, like just stuff like that. Like, don't nobody talk about that. Don't nobody talk
Yeah.
about the details of the speed of the computer you even got to use. Even when you get into PC, if you start building a PC, you got to get into sound cards, graphic cards. I mean, these are things you just have to be aware of. And all you want to do is just play video games on your TV or on stream or whatever. So I just think that kind of aspect kind of just really got to me. Not got to me like something, not bad, but just more of a like wow kind of factor, you know what I'm saying? And that and just how much everything costs. Like there's just a
Yeah.
lot of money. There's a lot of money involved, bro.
Yeah, that stimmy came in clutch, man.
Yeah.
Because without that without that stimulus, bro, I would have been at square one. I probably wouldn't be able to do anything. And
Right.
that and my father-in-law, he gave me his PC, and that was real helpful because before I didn't have anything. I had a laptop, but it was too slow. Actually, I had two laptops, but they were too slow, and so I was kind of like, man, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I don't want to keep having to. I mean, because the starting goal, I guess, is to, just to get started is cool to, be on a console, but eventually you obviously want to get, to, PCs and stuff like that, because that's when you can kind of like advance the production and everything. Yeah, the PC, came in clutch, and then, having I wish I would have knew all this stuff beforehand, because with the capture card, the capture card, and I'm still frustrated. I had to, go and throw some money out for that chat link thing. Because
Yeah.
the last time I was streaming, you couldn't hear couldn't hear Joe in the party. You couldn't hear him talking, and I was frustrating. So I had to cop that. So it's been frustrating, but it's a process. We still getting there. I'm happy that I got everything though.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I think another good thing is that a lot of the frustration seems to be kind of with the setup. And once you kind of are good to go, at least of what it seems like, once you're good to go, you're gonna be straight for a while, unless you make changes or buy new equipment or you try to upgrade something. But yeah, I think you're right. The at the end of the day, it's really trying to be you in the camera on the screen. And I when I do it, I did it without no camera. But I end up getting all the pieces. Now I got everything coming together. So hopefully this week or definitely next week for sure. But hopefully this week I can get everything tested out and just do a quick run and see if I need anything else, man. But I just hate how much it's like they almost taxing you for being creative. It's impossible, like you said, and I feel I was the same way. It's really impossible to have done this without the stimulus when it come in, and then also the taxes coming through when they did, because that season is about right around this time. So, but it's
Yeah,
like, man, what are we supposed to do to get out of that? And now I'm kind of getting to what I was trying to get into, as the big picture. It's like, okay, I'm not doing this necessarily to uh, just to be on here to be. I'm not spending all this money to have fun. I can play the game like I've been playing for years. If the money didn't come through, I wouldn't be able to do this, which means that I'm not getting paid what I need to get paid for my job, essentially to live and do anything outside of surviving. I don't think that there's a way out unless you have some extra help from somewhere else.
yeah,
And that's not I don't think that's fair to the people or anybody else, because for you to be creative and want to get it done, you shouldn't have to sacrifice so much just to make stuff.
yeah. But that's the world we live in now, man. You gotta sacrifice a lot to, be successful. You look at a lot of the most successful people, they had to sacrifice a lot to get to their position. So that just comes with the territory.
Yeah, I just feel like we shouldn't sacrifice what we are sacrificing, I guess. Like sacrifice in and of itself seemingly is okay. Um I imagine like time, you can't sacrificing time with friends because they want to go out and you want to create, that makes sense. Sacrificing money to buy a course to learn what you got to do or whatever the case may be, instead of buying some stuff you want, some new shoes or clothes or whatever, that makes sense to me. never being able to do this without the checks and stimulus is gonna happen because of Corona. So and that's why the Dex, bro. I don't know where mine's at. It's over here somewhere, but the Dex was not even available. The one I tried to get is the one you got. They didn't even have those. And then I couldn't even go to Amazon and get the chat link because they didn't have them at the time either. And then all this other stuff, PlayStations are gone and all, other stuff people are dealing with. Like it was hard to even get my hands on stuff in the first place. And even what I could get, the price was more expensive because everybody wanted one at once.
Yeah, because everybody, since everybody at home now, so everybody trying to either stream or do podcasts like we're doing. Everybody trying to do something. So all those things that you know people need is at high demand, and then of course the company see that, so they're going they're gonna raise the prices for everything. So it's more taxing. But I'm surprised that you had that much trouble finding all that stuff, because when I was on Amazon, I had no trouble finding any of that stuff.
Well, some stuff was on there, but I don't like buying used stuff for this kind of thing. So
Right.
the new stuff was a little bit more expensive. I
Right.
also had to duck around and try to find a couple of pieces before when I start talking to y'all, because I actually been doing this, but it wasn't the stream. It was other stuff with the podcast, other stuff with the recording. I got a new computer, like shit like that. Was like it was just not just readily available. So the times where I wanted something was delayed because everybody wanted it. Like I had to wait. Like this mic I'm using right now, I had to wait like 2 or 3 months for, and they even were pushing it back more and more and more because everybody wanted it, and it was just not available. So stuff like that is what I mean. It wasn't like I
Oh,
couldn't,
okay.
it didn't exist or I can't get it ever, but it just was a while. And the ones that you could get, just like the PlayStations. I said PlayStation isn't available, but you can go get one if you got a rack. You can go to eBay and you could drop a stack on one and go get one real quick.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. We ain't doing that, bro.
Nah,
We
nah.
done. I'm just waiting. It
Right.
sucks, but them scalpers, man, they're no joke. They're no joke, bro. They're like fiends, man. They be waiting on them sites, and not only just the scalpers, just people just like me that just want to get one a legit way, and then you're trying to compete with those people. It's got to a point. I'm like, you know what, forget about it. Because I think
Yeah.
this is gonna last. It's 2021 right now. I think it's gonna last until next year.
Yeah.
That's how I think it's gonna be. So
People keep
plus,
trying to
I mean,
go ahead, bro.
my
My bad.
bad.
No, good.
See, and even I mean, like really, it's no rush to even get them anyways, because they no games for them. So
Right.
I've kind of thought about that. So it's like, really, I mean, what are you really gaining? Besides all the specs and stuff, getting the next gen, because
Yeah.
pretty much because there's no games for them. So it's
Right.
like, really, what's the point? So since I looked at it from that perspective, you know, I just get it when I get it.
Right. You did. That's right too. When there's nothing on it, bro. From experience, I went on there looking for PS5 games, and it's really nothing on there. If I had won the one I got, I wouldn't have one, or nor would I try to go buy one. Probably for like the next like year or two. I don't think I've ever got. So this is my first experience dealing with next gen like immediately because I got this whole right when it dropped. So I don't know if it's always been like that as soon as they switch gens on us, or if this is new. But there's almost nothing out. Like I know the developers also can't go to work how we think that we can because of the virus as well. So I know that's delaying stuff and pushing stuff back, but still, it's like there's nothing, bro. There's nothing, and it's like why do people rush to go get this for? I actually probably just for clout because there's really nothing else to do on it. And most of my games I play is PS4 game.
Yeah, you're right. I think the reason why it's like this now is just because of the times that we're in. Because it used to not be like this. It wasn't like this for the PS4 or the Xbox One. It's only for this generation. I think it's just because of the whole Corona stuff, and that's really what I think it's for. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
How you can be sold out that quick. That's why I didn't even think it was gonna be like that. That's why I didn't even pre-order one. Cause I'm like, I'll just be able to get one when it comes out, and then sold out. I was like, okay, it's sold out at Walmart. I was like, okay, let's go to Target. Sold out there. Then you find out it's sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is new.
Yeah.
and, and then because of the time just so short, handed, and they're not enough of them are getting produced. So you got to deal with that stuff, and it's just like, okay, it's crazy.
They
This
should do more.
whole
They should do more to
but
this to the scalpers, because even when they do all the work to get a bunch of them out, they get the PS5s lifted from the sites within minutes.
in
Like they got,
seconds, really.
yeah, right, yeah, true, yeah, they got bots and stuff that can handle that for them.
Mhm.
So even if they was making them, can't nobody get one still. And I don't know what they're gonna do with them once they start making them for real. There's gonna be a lot of scalpers with a lot of PS5s just laying around, but
Yeah,
that's on them. I think that, they'll probably still make their money over time. I think, just, it's a game system, so that's not going to just sit, or if nothing else, just mass produce them over to fucking GameStop or something like that. Not that it's going to get them the same return, but I mean, I'll let them handle it. I'm not going to think for them, but at the end of the day, there should Sony and whoever else is involved in the manufacturing process, or even just the websites, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, whoever, should be actually doing something to. I don't know what they can do or how realistic that request is, but it seems like they're really jamming up progress for anybody else, even just during Corona. Like people are trying to get a game for their family member or whatever, and they can't even do that because people are just online tripping. But at the end of the day, it's a game system, and like you said, what you said perfectly, there's nothing to play on it, so you just rushing to have one just to have it sitting here. You're gonna be playing all PS4 games, so just get a PS4, which is probably 250, 300, if that. Still, it's not that big a deal, to be honest with you. But I
it's
just,
not that deep, bro. It's not that
yeah,
deep at all.
nah. But I do feel like there is a level of disconnect between um, the workplace, our work lives, and stuff like this or that I think needs to be kind of broken down and kind of hashed out, because for the most part, like we were saying, like there's no way to get out of that cycle. And what's been helping me, and I don't know if what you feel about this, but what's been helping me is using my job as a way to invest in myself and my business, ultimately to get myself out of the job at some point, because
Yeah,
just the cycle of just them paying me a couple times a month ain't taking care of me. And then at the end of the day, stuff is getting more expensive, and people was yelling about increasing minimum wage and make minimum wage higher, but ain't nobody talking about making stuff cheaper, like making places put a cap on rent, put a cap
right,
on mortgage,
right.
put a cap on food. If food costs so much money, it's like it keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And they were like, well, just give people more money. It's like, yo, that's the equivalent of just making more money when there isn't any. Like, you're not fixing the situation that's causing the problem. You're just medicating the symptoms. So I
Yeah,
I want to hear your thoughts on that, because I know you know what I'm saying. I know you got a family, you got a job, so I want to know what you think about that, man. Because I feel like I kind of get in my mind sometimes and be like, here's a solution to a thing. I don't nobody say shit. So I'm grateful to have a dialogue with you right now to see what you think about something like that. It feels like not a simple fix, but the solution of it is not some mystery. I think that all we need to do is just make stuff cheaper so people can not only live but live comfortably, and also be able to do stuff like a podcast or a stream if that's what they want to do. Start their own business instead of working for somebody else or whatever. So what you think, man?
yeah. The cost of living is always going to, the cost of living is always going to be high, and raising the minimum wage and stuff like that. That's not going to help anything, because you got to think once they do that, then they got to raise the taxes. Not tax. They got to yeah they got to raise the taxes on everything, and makes it difficult for everybody. So it's always gonna be tough for people to live, and yeah.
The taxes thing really got to me about 3 weeks ago or something like that. I don't remember the exact time. I was sitting there just breaking it down in my mind. And I was like, man, it's really some bullshit they playing us. So for multiple reasons. I mean, everyone who doesn't complain about taxes, especially rich people, right? The only time I hear good thing about taxes is when I hear tax return, and that's usually when
Yep.
kids are claimed and whatever. But ultimately, I kind of broke it down, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing the math wrong because I don't know. But I was thinking in my mind, okay, so if I made $500,000, right, they're going to tax me on that $500,000. I don't know what that's going to be. Some percentage, I'm sure. Is well, let's say whatever. I don't even want to give no numbers out because then I got to keep track of it. They're going to tax me on the money, right? But if I got a what do you, I guess an employee or some a partner or some shit, and I pay them $100,000 of that 500,000, they're not going to make me pay less taxes. I still got to pay for that whole 500,000. Now I got to pay taxes for the entire amount, no matter what I'm going to do with the rest of it. So I get taxed for $500,000, and I got whatever's left. I give you 100,000 because you helping me out, right? Then you pay taxes on that 100,000, which I just pay taxes on. So I just pay taxes, and then I give you your payment based on our agreement, and then you pay taxes on that too. And then the gag is when we spend that money, everything is plus tax. So then they taxing us for just buying stuff with the money they taxed us already before. And that's what I was confused about. I was like, man, am I missing something? Because they seem to be tripling the money in some kind of way to where they're always getting paid. And even stuff like property taxes or taxes on fucking registration for cars or anything. Like it just feels like the luxury taxes.
Yep.
Although I don't, the rich people, I don't necessarily vouch for. I'm not ride or die for them, but I can still look at a
No.
situation and see right and wrong.
Yeah, it's still
And
messed up.
it's still messed up, even though they can afford it and probably do a lot better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of money they got to pay out, which is even worse because it's like if y'all got all that money from them, what y'all bothering me for? Like I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to get groceries, and they got however million dollars you gave them because they play sports real good. Why are you talking to me for? Like, why don't you just deal with them? And what? Okay, so what do they need? Like, I don't know, man. It's got to be a deeper conversation than what I think it is, because when you think about the schools and you think about all the free programs and all those shit, it's like, well, you don't want to lose those, or you don't want those cheaped out.
No, you don't want them. Yeah.
But also, what is going on with the rest of the money? Like they're making so much, and all of it's not going to those programs. So
It's going in their pockets, man. That's where it's going.
I just don't. I just want a breakdown of from them, I guess, or I don't know. I just want a breakdown of what the hell's going on, because don't nobody really explain it. You just hear taxes, taxes, taxes. Pay your taxes. You better tax, and they almost make you. They make it like a fear thing. Like there's if you can't fuck up taxes, don't fuck with the IRS. Everybody know not to fuck with the IRS. And it's
They'll come
like,
get you. They'll
yeah,
come get you.
but who's getting them? Who's getting who? You know what I'm saying? Like who's getting the people who's taking the money from everybody? Because I don't know how many stories I've found in the news, and I don't even know how they find out or who got the heart to even push the stuff online or whatever. But this person did tax evasion, or this person was taking money from this, or the bailouts was a huge thing. I remember that when that took place. Even not even going back that far, the coronavirus, what do they call it? Some sort of relief, some shit. When they gave the money to the companies, and some rich companies was getting money from whoever was doing the corona stuff, and it's like, what's the price? What's the price of that? Or do you get Trump, who apparently I don't know the details, but he only paid $700 some in taxes, and he's a multimillionaire. So like, how many of them are doing that?
There's a lot of money going under the table. There's a lot of money that's not being explained, and it's unfortunate because the people deserve to at least know where their money's going. But that's a question that ain't never gonna be answered. You ain't never gonna find out where the money goes. There's always an agenda, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate. I think I want to say you're right, but it seems so hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be like, there could be something, there could be somebody, there could be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. I don't like just being like, I'm not saying you're wrong, because you probably, there's a high chance that you are correct, especially all these years has passed. But there's also a large group of people who aren't doing anything, period. So
Right.
it makes me think, like, based on what's going on right now, you dead ass right. There's no deviation from that. Like, you are 100% right. There just ain't gonna be no answers. But if I feel like sometimes I think, and maybe we can kind of break this down too, because I've been kind of thinking about, I'm always thinking about solutions to
Mhm.
problems. The problems are the problems. Yeah, it sucks, but what are we going to do about it instead of just, and that, they want us to sit back and be like, well, things are bad. You can talk about conspiracies, you can talk about theories, you can do whatever you want as long as just you running your mouth. It's not until you do something when they run up on you, and try to, take care of the disruption that you causing, right? So how realistic is it for someone to come out and be, uh I don't want to say names because I don't like saying the next person this or the next that, but there has been people who rearranged what's been going on because back in the day, the slaves, especially 400 years, bro, the slavery could, we got to quit being slaves. We got to do something about this, man. We always going to be slaves. There ain't no, there ain't no way out of it. That's just how it is. It's like, at the time, that's correct. But somebody came along at some point and was like, nah, I'm not doing it. And I just want to know, what does it take for us to kind of like grasp onto that whatever that is, to go out and do something about what's happening to us.
Well, not be afraid to do it. A lot of people fear, getting in trouble. That's the main thing. Once you get fear out of it, then it's more easier to do stuff. I mean, that's really like the biggest thing. You just gotta, because fear is power. So when you keep people, in fear, they're not gonna want to do anything. So in order, I guess, to solve that problem, any problem, you just gotta not be scared and just, be willing to go out on a limb and like, okay, I'm gonna make a change and start asking questions and then questioning the answers and just keep on, digging and digging until you get to what you're trying to get to. That, to me, that's what's gonna solve a lot of the problems, is getting out that fear and actually wanting to do it.
So what do you feel like people are scared of, in particular?
Scared of something happening to them, that might affect their norm in their life. That's what I'm pretty much saying. And it could be anything, to their physical being, to their financial being, anything.
Even like comfort, I bet too,
Yeah,
taking
of
away their
course. Yeah,
comfort.
yeah. Get them out their comfort. Yeah, take away their comfort. Once you do that, then people settle down a little bit. Once you start taking all that stuff from them, people are like, okay, I don't want you to, be messing up what's been comfortable for me. And I'm just going, okay, I'm gonna just follow your rules. I'm gonna just not say nothing. So
Wow.
once people get, stop being afraid to, you know, not worrying about something happening to them, regardless of what it is, then yeah, you'll change things.
Man, yo, so I feel like that's dead on serious. I think you're right. I was in college for a minute, like real quick. It was like a year. So I'm about halfway through a bachelor's, or not a bachelor's, an associate's degree. And the reason why because I was going to go all the way through it, go get a, PhD or whatever, and it was in something I can't even remember. So, sociology. Is that how you say it? Sociology is the study of society. Long
Oh,
story
okay. I was
short,
also I was going to ask, like, what's that for?
yeah, this is studying society, and I was going to work towards a, PhD for that. The reason I stopped, well, let me talk about the reason I did it, because that was really what I was going to get into. The reason I did it was because I feel like that I wanted to do something about what's going on, but instead of complaining about it, I wanted to be a part of the solution. And the issue is, I don't think education is the problem. And to me, sometimes knowledge is so powerful to me. Knowledge to me takes away fear. Like I don't, or it's at least the beginning of being fearless. Because if you don't know, you can. It's like being a kid and thinking that there's a monster in your bed. I got enough logical sense now to realize that's not true. But when you're a kid and you dumb, you like, oh, there could be something on my bed trying to do something to me. So I feel like it's that kind of thing that I wanted to gain education for. Just more practical things, of course, than monsters under beds, but more so of IRS is the monster that's going to get you if you close you don't pay your taxes. The IRS is the monster that's going to come get you, or the government, you know what I'm saying? And then, just not gaining knowledge and learning that government officials or whatever, or literally have the title public servant, stuff like that just made me more fearless to even just speak out about it, because a lot of people don't even want to talk about it. There's some people that don't even bring it up because they have brands that they're working with, or they got just whatever, a number, like maybe something they know, maybe they looked into something too much, or maybe they got into it some kind of way, and then what they was like, oh shit, we shouldn't do this, I don't like this, and then they stepped out. Now they know too much, so now they scared to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? And I think, to me, knowledge was going to be the power that let everyone know. Like, not only did I this is me theoretically saying, if I wouldn't have got the PhD, this is not only is my knowledge going to help me get through this, but now I'm vetted. People want to see that PhD and be like, oh yeah, he knows a lot, so now I can listen to what he's going to say. The problem is, I didn't logically break that down. I combined a lot of that with the emotional factor of like self-esteem. And people don't listen to me now. So when I get the PhD, they'll definitely listen. And it was too much of that. And I went through a year of, and by the end of that year, I was like, fuck all that. Like, it was stupid. And I was in there, the classes, college is a whole different discussion, bro. It's a game. College is such a fucking joke. But
I agree,
yeah,
bro.
It was I had a terrible time. And I know from experience, at first it was just me talking, but then when I go through it, I'm like, yeah, they are in here playing, every motherfucker in here. But
that's about money for real. That's about money.
absolutely, bro, absolutely. I can get into that, but that's gonna send me somewhere else. I'm not trying to go right now. So what I'm trying to say is that I was trying to gain knowledge, but I've learned through experience that it's not about people just not knowing stuff. It's about the lack of unity, I think, in the people, because a lot of people cannot know enough stuff, but we come together, you can teach me stuff and I can teach you stuff, and we can teach each other. And it's not about one person going off and learning everything they need to know. It's about us coming together and doing something about a situation that's taking place. So what do you feel? I guess if you think that's true, or if is that true in your opinion, or is it false? Is unity too too amplified? And if it's not, what do you think is causing us to not be able to unify in order to take care of a problem that we all deal with?
I think you're right with everything you were saying. Unity, is power. You don't have to go to school to, figure out things, because that's a joke in itself, because that's all about money. So, I think just coming together instead of just having one person, want to change things is really good for, a lot of people to come together so they can make a change, because that's key. Because you can gain knowledge just from talking to, different individuals, than just going to some school about whatever. You can actually just get, like, if you want to learn about, I guess, for example, fixing something in the house, you don't have to, go to school for that. Just talk to somebody that actually knows that line of work, and just come together with them. So yeah, you was right as far as unity and stuff.
I think, yeah, man, I feel like it is too. And I think there's a specific attack going on with people as a whole. And it seems like the objective is division. And when you can see, at least to me, so when I'm looking at the situation kind of like above it or outside of it, um, I see that there's a, well, let me just say like this. Let me say it like this, because if I talk too much about what I think, it's going to sound like a conspiracy theory. Let me say it like this, so then people can hear this and at least be able to associate what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff going on that people argue about, politics, religion, the new gender stuff. A lot of people arguing about that. People even within those groups arguing about different. I say religion, and I just kind of went going, but bro, I could talk about that for a grip. I was doing that church shit for a while, and there was even behind the scenes. I was in there behind the scenes long enough to see that there is actually some shit that they need to work on for real. And I can get into that. I'm not no that. I mean, I guess I can talk about it. I mean, this is if nothing else, this is the place for it. But there's definitely like some people. I think it's too easy to have a church. Like it's too easy to go out and just start a church. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. You just you go out to fill some papers out, get a building. You don't even have to have a building. I don't think, and you just go and you do your thing. And it's just like at the end of the day, there's some stuff I think needs to be discussed. I think within that community. But what the main part of what I can discuss in regards to what we're discussing now is that there's a lot of different, they call them denominations, where all the different, like everyone's a church, quote unquote, but the denominations are pretty much what that particular group of people believe in. So every church has a denomination. Even there's some that's called non-denominational, is their own group. And I'm saying all that to say, even within all the different split up shits, there's so much other shit within those things. And then it just keeps branching out and breaking out till it feels like everybody's so independent and everyone's so alone. And that's why I think when you look at Martin Luther King with the Million Man March, or you look at the Black Panther Party, and they couldn't have done that by themselves. Like one man or one woman could not have went out and did it. You've seen all those people sitting outside when Martin Luther King had that I had a dream speech. Like if you ever looked at the crowd, look at the picture of the crowd,
Yeah, it's a lot of
bro.
people. A
There's
lot of
a
people believe in him.
bro. I've never seen that many people in the picture before. Besides, like, the only thing that can come close to my mind at least is like New York when they have the New Year's Day thing. Times Square is jam packed. Stuff like that. That was just a lot of people just hearing him speak. And then, we all know the Black Panther Party. They had Black Panthers in different spaces, and that's how that story went down. There's numerous stories that took that direction. Malcolm X got killed by other Black people. Fred Hampton got killed by other Black people. And
Mhm.
if we unified, I think we wouldn't be able to be got. And I think that there's a saying actually that goes, um, "What we can't pay one nigga to do, or what one nigga won't do, we'll pay another to do," or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but ultimately
Right.
they're saying that if we're bound to turn on each other at some point is what they're getting at. You can see that
Yeah.
with the gang violence. You can see that even just Black people walking up down the street can't communicate with each other without thinking something's gonna go down, or just these different things. And it's like, man, like if we just broke all that off and just straight up came together, and we put our differences aside, because there will be differences. I think that's what we focus on too much, is the fact that we're not copy and paste from each other. Like mentally we know that, like logically we know that someone's not your exact twin, but when it comes to when it time comes to come together, we seem to have this thing in our mind that if this person isn't exactly like us, I don't like them. And not only do I not like them, but they probably hate me. Now it's becoming about, oh, I hate this whole group, or I hate this kind of, these kind of people, those kind of people. And it just seems to be such an effort to disconnect us as a society, not even just race, but just as a society. Everyone is forced to be in these clubs, and I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's going to be. I don't think that's going to. If that doesn't change, nothing's ever going to get better.
Yeah. There's so many things in this world that, that disconnect you from religion to, politics. It's all a trap. And I guess a lot of times when people don't want to come together is because they don't want to seem like I guess the less smart one, like they don't know everything. And so they can, and everybody has their, own opinion, and sometimes don't want to hear what anybody else has to say. I think a lot of people's problems is you just don't want to get out your own way, and you don't want to be, I guess, open to, listen to somebody else's opinion, whether they're right or wrong. And that kind of keeps everybody separated. And so when people kind of get out that negative mindset, you know, and instead of keeping themselves in a box, then you're always going to have that disconnect, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Do you feel like it's like a pride? It sounds like you're saying like it's a pride thing. Like you said, they don't want to be seen
It's an
as the
ego.
less.
It's an ego.
Yeah, ego. Right.
It's an ego thing, bro. Like we all have egos, and a lot of times, you know, we ego trip, and we just don't want to, you know, yeah, we just be ego tripping. That's
Man.
really what it is. It's all of this is ego. Your ego gets in the way of, uh, I guess, seeing things more clearly or seeing things from a, you know, a better light. You just let your ego get in the way.
And it's like it feels like a double thing too, because you let your
Mhm.
ego get in the way and it stops you,
Yeah,
but then it also makes you think that you are the only one that's being affected by you not getting the ego out the way.
yeah,
When in
yeah,
actuality, if you drop the ego or whatever you want to call, let's get rid of it or lessened it or whatever the case may be, you'll be able to function better in a group that's going to be trying to make change.
right,
Um,
right.
but it's crazy how it works because it doesn't show itself as an ego. It shows itself as who you are and your rights and all this other shit. At the end of the day, though, it is you just trying to hold on to something, even if it's tradition, or if you invested so much emotion into that particular thought or mindset, then you don't ever want to be no different, which is going to be hard when it comes to you trying to be making things any better. Because there's some people in this country that thinks everything's fine. Like,
They're fools.
yeah,
They fools.
yeah, I agree, but they don't think that. And the problem is they don't know how to step back like we just discussed and look back like, is this foolish or not? They'll never ask themselves that. Like, it just isn't. Like, why would they ever think that something was wrong? If they thought to question it, that something would have to come up for them to think that something's incorrect. And if they always think everything's right,
If they're not
then
getting affected by it, then they're gonna obviously think there's nothing wrong.
yeah,
So unless it's affecting them, you know, then there's no problem. There's no problem in this world, you know.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how somebody can be that I don't even know what to call it. Just that,
Closed minded.
yeah, closed minded for sure. It's really disgusting. I think as an individual, especially when it comes to age, when I see old people like that, I'm like, yo, like, that's even worse to me. Like when you're a child, or not even a child, a young adult, even. I'm talking about like maybe mid to late 20s. Late 20s is definitely kind of everybody ain't got no copy and paste life. Like everyone goes through different journeys, and everyone had a different level of certain things being grounded into them too. So you can't really pinpoint an age, but bro, as I've gotten older, there's some things that I've had drilled into me just even by society and media and all this other shit that I've looked back and be like, you know what, that was actually kind of stupid. Even just things I've done, just be like, yo, I was dumb for that. Like I was an idiot specifically for that particular thing. And when I see 50, 60, 70-year-old people still kind of holding on to that or at least not making an effort to change, it's it's it makes me hopeless sometimes. And I'm like, man, like there's really people out there like that just kind of hold on to that mindset, man. And it's really hard to think that that change can also take place and coexist with those kind of people.
And some of them old folks, they be stuck in their decades, man. You can't tell them nothing. We all the fools. Like they know everything. I can't stand those type of people, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because they
And
don't know everything, and there's so much stuff that it obviously changed. Like I said, if it's not affecting them, they're not gonna care. So that's the problem.
I think I don't know where they get the names of these different generations, like millennials, Gen X, uh, boomers. I think is one or whatever. Um, I think that I don't know how to word this, but I think that certain people, like you said it right. You said it pretty much exactly how it needs to be said about people are stuck in their decades, and I think that that's where a lot of people are. I think, and that's why I think a lot of people who are in Congress or whatever. I don't want to make this all political because this ain't. I didn't mean to go this way, but all the people are just in those places of power, are just 1,000 years old. Like there's not a lot of young people there, and even when they are young, they're kind of brainwashed into kind of being kind of sectioned. They're narrow minded, and
Mhm.
there's some new people in there. I've done some research. Actually, there's some new people or new demographics kind of being infused in that, because they used to just be all white males, but now there's different. There's black people in there. There's some Muslim people in there, and you kind of see it kind of, gaining some traction. But it's definitely going to take some time, as long as they keep white knuckling those positions for anything to change. And that kind of circles back around to what we were saying about how expensive things are for us to be able to create. Because I think it's like, have you read 1984?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, I don't want to break it all down, but it's probably my favorite book, I think,
Oh,
ever.
if it's the book, no, I really ain't read it.
Yeah,
They have an audio. They have an audio book of it, because if they got that, then I'll listen to it. But
they
I
might
can't.
they
I hate reading.
they might have an audio, but they definitely have a movie, which the movie ain't as impactful in my opinion, but there's definitely you can get under, at least understand what I'm trying to say. Um, is they're involved in. So it ultimately is a, man, I hate to break it all down. I hate doing rusty jobs and something, especially something that important. That's a very important piece of work. But definitely rent the movie if nothing else, bro. If you ain't, or the audiobook would be better. But either way, so ultimately, long story short, it's about a society ultimately that's kind of been grayed out. A lot of people are just doing the same mundane stuff. They get taught propaganda stuff. Um, and I bring it up because it feels like it's heading that direction. And once you read it, that book changed me. It's one of the books that I think I can't unknow. Like, it's one of the
Yeah,
things that you just read and it's like, oh shit, well that's,
it's gonna stick with you.
yeah. So that book's gonna stick with me the rest of my life, and actually influences a lot of my thinking, and a lot of that kind of opened the door to, man, like what else is going on, and it just created this endless whatever. But um, I'm saying that to say it feels like things are going towards, we're only going to be paying you enough for you to do what we tell you to do. Go to your job, buy what we sell to you. Kind of only talk this way, only talk that way, and it feels like it's kind of slowly building into that. There's certain things you can't say now, certain things you can't do. Um, it's just it just seems to be kind of focused on control, and I think that's going to be kind of, if we don't break out and kind of talk about things like this, put things like this out. Even the stream, it sounds like it's simple, but at the end of the day, I know you ain't on there with no weird agendas. At least forcing people to buy stuff with different sponsors, or what I'm saying. Like, I know that you just on there playing game, and still as it sounds, they call these people influencers now. So it's not just so we just putting out entertainment. That sounds cute. They're actually monetizing these human beings and making them as people who propagate product. And sometimes at some point, that it's very possible that that can adjust to politicians buying ads, or people who are trying to influence on a deeper level other than just buying stuff.
Yeah, it's a weird time, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird time.
Yeah. It's really weird, man. I just don't understand, like, why people just want control so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the villain who wants to take over the world. It's like, really, at the end of the day, what are you gonna do with the world, bro? Like, what are you
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I think they just want to keep people, in a box and keep misinforming people. I think that's the key. They just want to keep, you know, us distracted for sure. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of ways to keep, people separate, from the religions to, politics. There's so many things to keep obviously us separated, and there's so many things to keep us distracted, like, you know, watching TV, being on our phones all this time, and there's so many things that can, distract us. And once we break away from that, it's just always going to be, control. I mean, media, they control people. They they make you believe whatever they put out there. So it's it's tough. You just gotta. It was one important thing is just kind of knowing that it's like that, and you know, trying not to be a part of the problem, and kind of want to be a solution to it. Because at this rate, you know, everybody's gonna be brainwashed.
Yeah, yeah, that's truth, man. And I can tell you understand what I'm saying because the way
Mhm.
you put it in your replies, I can tell you understanding it. There's a lot of, and that's what I was saying about I trust you with your particular uh content because there are some people who are out there that will do whatever to whoever for some money. And I've never been like that, and I don't understand that mindset. But I do know that people are going to be on Twitch, people are going to be on YouTube, people are going to be
Mhm.
listening to podcasts or radio or just whatever. And that's always been my kind of goal, I guess, when I've been creating, is to just be something in that's not like everything else and telling you the truth. And that's always been, I'm talking about, I mean, even just the name of this podcast came from me being like that. No fiction has always been a part of how I've operated from the very beginning. And there's a piece of me that just can't get away from telling the truth to people and doing what I can, doing at least my part on this earth to help people and help I guess just the world in the best way I can. I mean, I'm a voice right now, but who knows who's going to hear this years from now, or I mean, a million years from now. I mean, this is something I'm going to put online. It's going to be on the internet for however long it's going to be on the internet.
Yeah.
This ain't, it sounds like it's just a podcast. It sounds like it's something we're just doing real quick, or everyone got a podcast, so just feel like we just yet another person. But ain't nobody talking like how we talking for real. Like at least that's propagated, and even if there was, that's more unity. That goes back to what we were saying before about us coming together. Like I think that mindset needs to be propagated a little bit more. At least spark a thought in someone's mind. What am I being controlled by? Who's been lying to me? At least ask some questions, because all I've done is try to provide any wisdom or anything that I came to my mind for provided to the people the best way I can. And that's through music. I've done it through just talking to people on here on the first season, or just whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I do it on the stream sometimes too. You hear me talking about just like how my week went, and what I learned. That, what I'm saying, like that's not by accident. Like it's just how I am, and I'm something I'm doing intentionally because people are going to be on Twitch. Why not also listen to someone who's not going to be trying to get you to buy something from them, or whatever? And not that buying stuff is the curse, but there is a lot of people who are gravitating towards just like a dollar, and at that
Not
point doing
important.
whatever. Yeah,
No, it's not important.
no,
It's about sparking the mind for change. That's the most important thing. You
yeah,
know, and if you have a platform to be able to do that, then you should use it for that.
yeah,
And that's what we're doing now. You know,
yeah,
that's where it starts. That's the main thing is sparking change is acknowledging it and then speaking on it and not
yeah.
being afraid to, you know.
You bring up a good point with platforms. I think that's a very kind of way to kind of put a button on it. If you got a platform, just like you said, if you had a platform in any kind of fashion, you should be using it for good.
Mhm.
Because there's plenty of people using theirs for bad and using it for themselves. And that's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, even the smallest thing like Twitter, you know, that's a platform to
Yep.
reach people, you know. But most people, even Facebook, but you know, most people they compete with each other on them things, and you know, putting out fake stuff about their lives or whatnot. Like people really care, you know. It's not a competition, you know. It's not a
Yeah.
competition on, you know, no, I got this or I did this or I'm doing this or doing that. No, it's about sparking the mind and talking about things, you know, that need to be spoken about, and then you know asking questions, questioning answers, you know, all that stuff. You know, some people use, you know, their platforms for selfish things, you know, but
Yeah. I
we not
think
doing that.
hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. I think the people who are running away from what they know to be true just to make some money are gonna look back at themselves and realize they could have used their platform for a lot better stuff.
Yep.
And I don't want
It's
that to
easy
ever
to,
be my story, man. I don't want to look back and be like, man, I really wish I didn't try to play these people and I use that time to help them. Like that won't never be me, bro. Like I don't worship money that much to or at all, but especially that much to manipulate masses in order for me to gain and take from them. Like that's just not. There's no way that a life like that is going to end well. I don't care how much money you gather. There's no way a life like that is going to end well. And I'm not going to kill myself for because I actually we say money. Really, it's not really money in and of itself. It's the ability to go buy things. So ultimately, what you're doing is trading this amount of funds for this item. Like here's a car, here's $1 million, let's trade. That's literally what it is. You're just trading. So I don't want nothing that bad, bro. There's nothing on earth I want that bad to where I'm like, I'm about to hurt some people for this. Like it just isn't. That's just not in me. It's not in you. It's not in Casey. It's like I don't think that there's I don't think it's ingrained in us on purpose. I think a fear based, like you was talking about earlier. I think fear kind of gets us in that I need to do something about this, or I'm always going to be like this. The problem is that sometimes there's some ski mask ways you can get stuff done that seems like the best way, it seems like the faster way, but it's never going to end well. It just never does.
yeah,
So
we've all been, drilled, stuff, throughout our lives of what, money being being a end all be all and all that stuff. And, it's not nobody's fault. I mean, it's just that is just the way it is. But the most important thing is that we try to recognize that, there's so many flaws and we're trying to make that change. That's the most important thing.
I mean, yeah, I like that, man. I like that a lot. Let's wrap it that because that's I think the people need to kind of focus on that, man. It's about the change. And I think if you're not trying to either change or be someone who's changing others, I don't know what life is to others. Like I don't know what do you do. And I'm kind of glad that I had so many things against me because it took me away from being popular enough for me to focus. And I think sometimes people get caught up in having what this world deems as dope, attractiveness or money or whatever the case may be. So they don't get the opportunity, or they get the opportunity, but they don't take the opportunity. It's harder. There's more distractions in front of them for them to see the opportunity, for them to do what they're supposed to do with what they got. But I'm glad the wisdom came first, and now it's on its way up because beforehand, I would have really ruined some people's lives. I think, not even in my heart wanting to in particular, but just not caring enough about them or myself even to deviate from that kind of mindset. So I think you hit it on the head, man. That change has got to be it, and we all I know it seems exhausting because I mean I'm always changing, I'm always growing, I'm always progressing, but really there's life that's lived in that. It's not just simply you do that and that's it. Like there's life. Like my daughter, for instance, is a good. I know you got a family too. My daughter is changing me and growing me and stretching me in ways. But it's not like this. Like oh my gosh, I'm so sick of her being different. I'm so sick of her growing. I'm so sick of her. Whatever. It's not that. I'm grateful that she's here because I would not be who I am supposed to be now if I didn't have her. I'd be some. I don't know what I'd be, but I'd be surprised if I was alive still. So I'm just grateful, man, for the opportunity to change because some people don't get that, and I think that's the golden key to life, man. Honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. And that's a that's a weird way to well that's actually a nice way to look at it as far as I never looked at it like that, buying stuff as trading. I never looked at it like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It really did when you broke it down like that. That made a lot of sense. I was like, oh, it kind of is like that. Like
yeah,
it really is trade. Like okay, I want to buy this phone. Okay, it costs like what $500. Okay, let's do the transaction. That's pretty much what it is.
yeah. That's
It's not.
what
It's,
it is.
yeah, instead of being buying, it's just trading.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. That's a nice way to look at it.
yeah, yeah. And man, hopefully people can get that and gain from it because that's really all it is. Honestly, that's really all it is. Um, But yeah, I don't want to keep you, man. I know we've been on here for a little bit. You want to let know people where you at?
I am on Twitch. It's at I forgot. I think it's at King Mason. Oh, King Mason. I think my Twitch is King Mason 217, and then my Twitter is at King Mason 89.
That's what's
So
up,
that's
man.
where, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Definitely follow him on Twitch and Twitter, of course. I was on there. I think it was yesterday, right? What's today? No, it was Friday. I feel like.
I think
Yeah,
Friday
but
was the last time I streamed.
yeah, we was kicking on there, man. It was dope. Definitely a good time, man. I'm on everything. Shermville, you know the deal. On Twitter, Twitch. I'm not on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Instagram. But yeah, hit me up on anything, Shermville. You'll see me. Definitely be looking out for some new stuff from the production company. I got a couple of things that are actually a lot closer than they were before. I know I'm always talking, but yeah, I got stuff coming up. But I got some stuff that's definitely getting closer. The Twitch is kind of my main thing right now. I'm trying to build as far as interactions and stuff like that. I don't care too much about Twitter followers, but if y'all can please follow me on Twitch, hit me up. It's twitch.tv, not .com, twitch.tv/Shermville, SHERMVILLE. So hit me up on there, and that kind of stuff. And that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
Another one knocked out, man. We've been gone for a minute, but we back.
Yeah, it was only a week, but it does feel like a minute, hadn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
it felt like a very long time. It was very
yeah,
frustrating because we was on a roll.
yeah.
I mean, a
Let's
little
call it.
misstep.
It was spring
It is
break,
what it
man.
is.
It was spring break. I'm not upset.
Right, right.
We don't make that a habit. I think it was just and even y'all was actually ready. What happened last week is, well, I didn't get all into it, but ultimately I just got jammed up. It wasn't even everybody else. So usually I'm kind of the one that's either I do it solo or I do it with everybody. But I was the one that actually at this point it was like, oh, see, I can't do it. I can't do it this week. It's not gonna work. So, but we got nothing else coming up. Oh, I'm glad I said that like that. My birthday stream is a week from Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. I got a couple of things I'm gonna try to do a little special for that particular stream. So be on the lookout. Definitely come through for that. I'll post some stuff about it so y'all see what's going on. But yeah, that's all I got too, man. I ain't got nothing. I ain't nothing else. So I guess we'll holler at y'all later. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week, man.
Yeah.